Dealing with a spouse who never admits they're wrong, who constantly gaslights you, and who refuses to take any responsibility for their actions can be one of the most draining experiences a person can endure. This is my story. It wasn't always like this. In the beginning, we were happy. We laughed, we shared dreams, and I thought I had found my soulmate. But slowly, things began to change. It started with little things. She would dismiss my opinions or twist my words during arguments. I thought it was normal, just part of the ups and downs of any relationship. But these small incidents started to add up. Each time she dismissed my feelings or twisted my words, I felt a little more confused and a little more isolated. I remember one time I suggested we go to the mountains for a vacation. She immediately dismissed it, saying it was a stupid idea and that I never considered what she liked. I was taken aback, but I let it go, thinking maybe she was just having a bad day. Gaslighting's a form of psychological manipulation where the person makes you question your own reality. At first, I didn't realize what was happening. I trusted her, and when she said I was overreacting or being too sensitive, I believed her. She would always say things like, "You're overreacting. That never happened. You're just being sensitive." I started to doubt myself. Was I really overreacting? Did I misunderstand what happened? It became a constant state of confusion and self-doubt. There was another time she promised we would visit my parents for the holidays. When the time came, she completely denied ever agreeing to it. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "I never said that. You're imagining things." I felt like I was losing my grip on reality. No matter what happened, it was always my fault. If she forgot something, I should have reminded her. If she was upset, it was because of something I did. She never took responsibility for anything, and I was always to blame. I found myself apologizing for things I didn't even do, just to keep the peace. It was easier that way. But with every apology, I lost a little more of myself. One time, she forgot to pay an important bill. When the notice came, she turned to me and said, "Why didn't you remind me? This is your fault." I felt guilty, even though I knew it wasn't my responsibility to manage her tasks. The constant gaslighting and blame took a toll on my mental health. I felt like I was walking on eggshells, constantly anxious about doing something wrong. My confidence was shattered, and I started to believe that maybe I was the problem. It affected every aspect of my life. I couldn't focus at work. I isolated myself from friends and family, and I felt like I was losing my mind. I started avoiding friends and family. I didn't want to explain what was happening, and I didn't have the energy to pretend everything was okay. A good friend invited me to a reunion and I lied, saying I had other plans. The truth was, I couldn't face people and pretend my life was fine. I knew I needed help, so I started seeing a therapist. It was in those sessions that I began to understand what was happening to me. My therapist helped me see that I wasn't crazy, that I was being manipulated. My therapist said, "It's important to recognize that you're not at fault here. Gaslighting is a form of abuse, and it's not your fault." Hearing those words was a turning point for me. I started to regain some of my confidence and began to set boundaries. The therapist gave me tools to recognize the manipulation and to stand up for myself. It was empowering, but it was also scary. We practiced scenarios where I would calmly but firmly assert myself. It felt awkward at first, but I knew it was necessary. Setting boundaries was difficult, but necessary. I told my wife that her behavior was unacceptable and that I wouldn't tolerate it anymore. That drove her crazy, and she kept saying things like, "You're being ridiculous. This is all in your head." But I stood my ground. I knew that I deserved to be treated with respect and that it was time to take control of my own life. I explained to her that things needed to change. I told her that I wouldn't accept being blamed for everything anymore. She didn't take it well. She yelled and accused me of being unreasonable, but for the first time I didn't back down. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, things don't change. My wife refused to acknowledge her behavior, and I had to make a difficult decision. But the worst part came when I discovered she was cheating on me. I found incriminating messages on her phone, clear as day, yet she looked me straight in the eye and denied it. "Those messages mean nothing," she said. "You're just being paranoid and insecure." I couldn't believe her audacity. Even with evidence right in front of her, she continued to lie point blank. It was like a slap in the face, a final blow to my already fragile state of mind. Leaving was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was also the most necessary. I needed to prioritize my mental health and my well-being. I moved into a small apartment. It wasn't much, but it was mine. It was a place where I could start to heal. It's been a journey, but I've finally found peace. I've learned that it's okay to walk away from toxic relationships, that it's okay to put yourself first. I've reconnected with friends and family, rediscovered hobbies I love, and started to heal. It's not an easy process, but it's worth it. I've even started to enjoy life again. Simple things like a walk in the park or reading a book bring me joy. If you're in a similar situation, know that you're not alone. It's okay to seek help, to set boundaries, and to walk away if necessary. Your mental health and well-being are worth fighting for. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories. And remember, you're not alone.